So here's an example of how you can build your own script to do multiple actions inside QuickBooks Online. In this particular case, we had a user in our RightTool user group ask is there something that RightTool can do to let me batch delete custom reports. I get a lot of custom reports that I need to review, and basically I want to delete a bunch of custom reports. So basically they just want to delete all the custom reports that are sitting on this page. So the problem with the current setting is that there really isn't a way to do it in batch. You literally have to click on one, click on the drop down and click on delete, and then go to the next one, click on the drop down, click on delete, which is really not a big deal if you only have one. But I'm going to open one of these here, and then I'll create a couple. So I'm just going to keep saving more custom reports here. So I'll do a whole bunch of copies. That way we can kind of emulate, how annoying it would be to have a lot of things in that screen and having to delete each one. So just imagine I just keep creating a bunch of copies, and I go back into my reports and then custom reports, and then essentially I see a bunch of stuff in here. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna leverage ChatGPT to help us write a script to do this automatically for us, to delete everything that's in there in one shot. So first thing I usually do is I'll click on the drop down menu on one. I'll take a screenshot. This actually kind of helps me create some context. So I'll take a screenshot first. That way I can tell ChatGPT exactly what I'm trying to do. So I'll go into ChatGPT, and then I'll paste that screenshot that I just took, and then I'll specifically say, I'll tell ChatGPT what's going on. Okay. This is a screenshot of my custom reports page inside QuickBooks Online. I showed it to you for context, and also I clicked on the little drop-down menu to the right so you can see what that menu looks like. Notice that there's a delete button in there. Okay, that's good enough to get us started. So we'll just kind of get started by showing it the screenshot and then clicking on that, and then we're just setting up the premise, right? We're telling ChatGPT exactly what this is going to do, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to tell it that we need to write a script that will automatically open that box and click delete in our behalf. So I'm actually going to say, what I need you to do is to write a console script that I can put into my Chrome browser that will open each and every one of those that are sitting on the screen and click on delete until every single report is wiped out. I am actually going to give you a copy of the HTML code of what it looks like before the menu is clicked and after the menu is clicked, so you can actually use the HTML code. Are you ready? Now keep in mind that the specific language I'm using here is really important. So if you're going to try this yourself, make sure you tell it all those things. Console script, the fact that you're going to give it HTML code, all those things matter, okay? So here we go. Now I'm going to go back into QuickBooks here. I'm going to right click anywhere, any white space, and then I'm going to click on inspect. So that's the first step here. Then I'm going to click on the little choose elements button up here in the top. You actually literally have to look at the screen and see where the choose element is. And then I'm going to go and select the element in this case, which is that drop down menu. So let me try this again, and then go here until it highlights the drop down. There you go. That's highlighted. Once I click on that, you're going to notice on the right hand side, I'm going to have a whole bunch of HTML. Now I'm going to collapse the left navigation bar and open this a little bit to get a little bit more context here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and see if I can find that little drop down menu. Let me keep searching until it's selected. It does get a little bit tricky because this particular page, maybe I'll zoom out a little bit. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier this way. Okay, I lost my track. So let me click on the elements button again, click on that, and then it found it for me. Okay, so usually what I do is I go up a little bit. Let me bring this down. So I go up as much as possible until I lose it. So I'm gonna go up, 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 up. Okay, I lost it. So I'm gonna go back here, boom. So that's probably the highest level that is up there. So everything under here, everything under this code should be the code needed to click on that menu. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to click on copy element, and then I'm going to go to ChatGPT and tell it this is what it looks like before I click on the menu. and then I just literally just paste that code in there. So that's going to be enough for it to sort of understand. So now it knows what it is. So now it's telling me provide the HTML after you click on the menu. So we'll go back into QuickBooks. I'll open up that menu, and then I go back into my element, and I go find the element here somewhere. So I'm going to click here, and then like I said, I usually go up until I selected the whole thing. So that this looks like the highest level up. So I'm going to click on that and copy element. Okay, and I'll go back into ChatGPT and say and paste that. Okay, so now it knows the code, the HTML code before you click and after you click. So it already tried doing the coding for me. It already literally gave me the code, and it gives me the instructions. This is how you run it. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and copy this code, and then I'm gonna go back into the screen, and then we're gonna go into the console screen, which basically we're gonna right click anywhere, the blank space, click inspect. So the same thing, but instead of being in elements where you see all the HTML code, we're gonna be inside console. And inside console, this is where we're essentially gonna test the code. Now I'm gonna click on this little clear button to get it a sort of a clear screen. It's just gonna be a lot easier to sort of visualize what you're doing. And I'm gonna put the cursor right there on the next step. Then I'm gonna paste that code in there, and we're just gonna test for now. So I'm just gonna paste the code in there, test it, and then I'm gonna show you how we can automate this later on. At first, we always have to test it. So I'm gonna press enter, hands up in the air, and okay, so we notice that well, it's doing things, but it's not finishing it because we actually didn't tell it to do the next step, which is to click on this delete button. So because we didn't actually even tell the code that this was happening, basically it ran through the script, it thought it deleted it, but it actually didn't delete anything because it didn't press that delete button. So we're gonna do that one more step. We're actually gonna try to delete, okay, and then we'll go into the elements again, select this element, okay, and usually again we try to go as high as possible before we lose it. So right here, I'm gonna copy that code, go back into ChatGPT and say, I'm gonna say between every delete action, there's actually a pop-up that is asking me to make sure that I want to do it, and then I have to confirm. So I'm going to give you the HTML for that. Okay, so I paste that, kind of just start giving it the context so it knows, and then it says, okay, give me the confirmation pop-up. I'll send that, and it should figure out which is the button to actually confirm. So I'll do, artificial intelligence is smart enough to know that. So now it's giving me an updated script that's going to go through all that. And I don't know a lot about code, but I do know that there are timeouts, and the timeouts is waiting. In this case, is a second. So it's waiting a second in this case, and then here's a timeout waiting half a second. 500 means half a second. So it's building timeouts in there just to make sure that it waits for it to finish. If you try this and it doesn't work because your computer's too slow, then you actually tell it to do longer timeouts, and the script will just take a little bit longer, but it might work if your computer's a little bit slow. So let's try this now. We'll go into console here, clear that out, paste the new code. Again, crossing my fingers, press enter, see if it does it for me. Now it's doing it. So I'm not pressing anything. The script is going one by one, and it's deleting every single one of these for me. So beautiful. So now we got a functional script. What we want to do is we want to avoid, right clicking and then going into inspect and then going into console and then pasting the code. We want to avoid all that. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert this into something called a bookmarklet. Now, before we do that, let me just create a whole bunch of custom reports here so we can have more custom reports in there to delete. So let me go to save as, save, and then I'll just keep doing, let's just add a one here. And then I'll go to save, and then save as, save, and then save as, save. I'm just creating custom reports in there so we have something to delete. Okay, save as, save. Okay, that should be good enough. I go back into reports and custom reports, and I have a whole bunch of things in there. Again, I want to avoid right clicking and going into inspect and then going into console and then pasting the code in there. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to create this thing called a bookmarklet. And I'm going to go back into ChatGPT, and then notice that there's a lot of comments here. So I'm going to tell it two pieces of instructions. One is, I want this in Bookmarklet mode, remove comments, and minimize it. Basically, I'm saying make it as short as possible, make it one long string. So we'll hit send on that, and then I'll rewrite the code into Bookmarklet. It knows what Bookmarklet is, and it's been minified, so it's just one chunk of code, and it gives you the instructions exactly how you're going to do that. So we're going to click on copy, and then the way Bookmarklets work is you're actually going to create a bookmark. So we're going to go up here to bookmarks, and then we're going to click on bookmark this tab, and then we're just going to give it a name. Let me put it into my regular bookmarks bar, and then we'll call this delete all reports. So even though the bookmark is for this page, we're calling it delete all reports into the bookmarks bar, and then we click done. Now we have to actually edit this bookmark. So if I actually show my my bookmarks bar, and then I go all the way here to the bottom, I should see delete all reports. I can click and drag this and put it here at the very beginning, so we see it here more visible. And then I can right click on that and click on edit, and then I can change the URL. Now, if you can't do all that, you just go to bookmarks and then click on bookmarks manager, and then inside the bookmarks manager you can search your delete all reports, and then in here you can right click and edit, or click on these three little dots. Actually, I guess the three little dots don't work. Oh yeah, three little dots and edit. So as long as you can edit and then change the URL, again, remove whatever it was and paste that big string, right, the JavaScript, the Bookmarklet, and click on save. Now all of a sudden when I go back into QuickBooks, I can literally just click on that little link that says delete all reports, or go into bookmarks and click on delete all reports. And then when I click on that, it's the same thing as running the code in the console. So basically it's a little shortcut for you to do that. And then if you have RightTool, even better. So we can actually go into RightTool, we can go into the settings, and this is only RightTool Pro, by the way. We can go into Accountant Pro, and we can turn on this thing called Enable Scripts. So when we turn on Enable Scripts and then click on Save, I go back into QuickBooks, and then we're gonna see a new option called Scripts. And like, this was actually built for me because I do a lot of experimentation with scripts. And then in here, you can click on Add Script, and then in here you can paste, and it'll be just like a bookmark. And then we'll call this one, you gotta paste the code in the top, and here we'll call it delete all custom reports. So now instead of it being a bookmark up here, I can even get rid of my bookmarks bar. So I wouldn't need this anymore. I now have a button that will do this for me. So let's run a report and create some custom reports so we can emulate this. So let's do save as, save, save as, save, save as, save. Notice I'm just creating a bunch of reports so we can have a script that works. Let's go back into reports. Let's go into custom reports. So I got a whole bunch in there. Now I just have a button there under scripts, which is the same thing as the Bookmarklet. Click on that, and then it does everything for me. I'm not clicking on anything. It's doing it automatically for me. So I hope that's useful. I would love to watch what you guys come up with in terms of your own experiments or your own custom scripts on how you can automate things in QuickBooks Online, either through the scripts functions in RightTool or with the Bookmarklet concept with the bookmarks, using ChatGPT or any other type of artificial intelligence. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.